Welcome to ATP Customs. Well, it's Wednesday, August 26th. I'm definitely a little late, but we have a day. The Willys is taking a little longer than we planned on at Eagle Industries, so we're going to try and squeeze the body lift in this thing today and cut all those broken body bolts out of the floors. So we're going to have a 15-inch lift by the end of the day, hopefully. Monster Blazer is on the chopping block again. So we might as well turn this into a review while we're doing this. We're using a Performance Accessories 3-inch body lift kit, part number PA503, 3-inch Chevy GMC Blazer and Jimmy's, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drives. What do you get? You basically get a bunch of pucks, 10 of them there. Now, because we're standard, there is a little extension in this bag. You got to make sure it came with the bag. And let me dig it out for you right now. I like to make sure that piece is always in there because we have to take that clutch shaft, goes from your clutch pedal through the floor, and we have to extend it because the body is going up. So that's an important piece. It can cause you lots of grief if you don't have it. It's not that big of a deal if you don't have it. You can make it. But I just like to make sure it's in there. Now, this probably isn't the best truck to be sticking a 3-inch body lift in because it is so rusty, but it has always been my dream since I was young. I'm talking many years before I could drive. I wanted a truck with 44s. I wanted a 12-inch lift and 44s ever since I was little. Well, I decided to go with 45s. And on a Blazer, they don't fit that well, so we got to stick a 3-inch body lift in it, just because of the clearance. When you turn the wheels, I probably have a 1/2 inch tops between the fenders. So if I was to hit a bump, it's probably going to rip that fender right off. So we're going up 3 inches, and of course, most of the bolts were a problem because it's so rusty. Yes, that is rusty. So we had to cut the heads off and actually pound them down through. All of them are out. The front ones, we had to cut the floor open to get to that part because that part right there keeps spinning. You can see it broke off and it just spins on you. So we actually just cut the bottoms right off of it. I don't know if we can pull that one through. Okay, there we go. That one pulls through. Perfect. The other one is being a little more of a pain, but the rest of them are all out. And now we're gonna jack this thing up another 3 inches. So we'll have a 15-inch lift in this monster, which is what I always wanted. An absolutely ridiculous truck that is pretty much pointless with 45-inch tires. I love those things. They're just awesome. I just realized earlier on I talked about this shaft, how we got to cut this and add that to this piece. And I forgot that I'm going to a Turbo 400 in this thing because I want the SCS gearbox that drops the transfer case about 10 to 12 inches so I don't have to mess around with a bunch of clocking the diffs and crazy drive shaft angles. But I just wanted to throw in that what I like to do is, because this thing is skinnier than your actual clutch shaft, which doesn't make sense to me. Every body lift brand I've ever ordered sends you a piece that's smaller. So I prefer to cut it closer to the top so that it's near the top of the clutch pedal, and that way it's kind of out of the way. You don't see it because it just looks kind of funny when you got this little tiny piece. It looks hokey. So if that's the piece you got to use, I like to hide it under the dash a little bit if you can so you don't have to see it. But I forgot I don't have to deal with that because we're going automatic in this thing. Well, it solves that problem. Well, that's 15 inches of lift in the Monster Blazer. Now the body's not bolted down. It's almost impossible to bolt this body down because it's so rusted everywhere. But we do have all the 3-inch body lift in it. And you're looking at a 15-inch lift. It's awesome! Let's have a look. What are we measuring? So, top of the tires is about 45 inches by the looks of it. The bottom of the fender is 59 and a quarter. There you go. 59 and a quarter to the bottom of the fender. We're almost 5 feet. Someone around to help me do this right now. The bottom of the window, 75 inches. So it's over 6 feet to the bottom of the window. So the bottom of the window is an inch taller than I am. That's just awesome. I'm so happy. I've missed working on this thing. Now, if you're doing a body lift, I know they say to jack up one side and do all the pucks down one side, and then you jack up the other. And I've done, I don't even know how many of these body lifts I've done on these square bodies. The Blazer has been the worst one because the body bolts are all so rusted. And what happens is if you jack up one side, the body shifts on you, and then you spend another day realigning it because it's so heavy. Just because we don't have a hoist. That is the actual main problem, is we don't have a hoist to be doing this. So if you're doing it at home, I don't recommend doing it that way. What we did was we put a couple of 2x4s about that long on the jack, and I just wedged them up right here. You can find a good spot, and if you wedge them against the bumper, then they don't get away on you. Jack up one on each side, and then you can get these in. Now that one isn't going to go in. We got some ugliness we got to deal with stuck in there, but we'll be dropping the fuel tank, and now that we have the body lift in, we actually have a little more access for the fuel tank and the bumper bolts, because they're really difficult to access on the Blazers. So I have found that's probably the better way for squeezing this in so it doesn't move around on you. A lot more clearance now for the tires. We can actually turn, hit a bump, and not rip the fenders off finally. So that's awesome. And while you guys are watching this video, we'll be on our way out to the pile where we keep all the trucks out in the scrap pile a couple hours out of town. So we'll see what we can drag out of there. It's fun and exciting tomorrow. Speaking of fenders, on a little side note, on the Cobra King doors, the passenger side actually fits not bad. I don't know if any of you guys have watched the Cobra King review we did on these doors. We'd only tried the driver's door. We stuck it on another truck. Well, we stuck the driver's door on the Monster Blazer, and we can't even put the fender on. It's just so out of whack. It's so far out of whack. It sticks out probably 2 inches from the rocker on the bottom and then runs into the fender. So we can't even have the fender on. That door sucks. I don't know what we're going to do with that thing. And I thought I'd pull that in just so you could see the difference. That is my Jimmy with a 7-inch lift and 37s next to the Monster Blazer with a 15-inch lift and 45s. In real life, it is a massive difference. The camera just doesn't justify it. When you're standing next to this thing, it is absolutely huge. But it's awesome. I love it. Love my Blazers, love my square bodies, and love big tires and wheels. Thank you for watching, and I hope you subscribe.